the news of the week, Tuesday edition, with your anchorman, Dennis Miller.
You applaud now, but one day you will betray me. Well, good evening, and what can I tell you? Here we see Bill Clinton with an aide carrying reams of allegations that he'll have to deny over the weekend. The key word being reams. Having lost his voice, a courageous Clinton defied his doctors this week by campaigning in semaphore, the international language of flags. Here we see him signaling a buxom woman to prepare to be boarded. The Surgeon General yesterday reported that risky sexual behavior, crime, and bad grades are some of the results associated with teenage drinking and presidential primaries. Earlier this week, as an aide worked feverishly to plug the damage, Jerry Brown points to a hole in his cranium where the presidential hopeful claims, quote, the voices come from. Jerry finally took a break from the rigors of the campaign trail this week by shedding his trademark turtleneck for attire he's a little more comfortable in. Sunday, Paul Tsongas announced that he will not seek the Democratic nomination and will in the future let his tan lines accentuate his supple breasts. Those lights, it's the Aureola Borealis. Here we see Sonny Bono in L.A. this week as Cher's secretary explains to him that she's very busy right now. Assembly Speaker Willie Brown, a Democrat from San Francisco, does his impression of how Dan Quayle and Bill Clinton avoided the draft. And George Bush looks on in amazement at some school children as they explain that the Earth rotates, not the sun. Following a slip in the polls, a belligerent Bush faced reporters last Friday and declared, I know what America needs, love songs. Nothing but love songs. The President and House Speaker Tom Foley shared a laugh this week when it dawned on them that they would both probably be reelected, even though it's no longer a secret they're not qualified for their jobs. And Pat Buchanan couldn't help but break into a huge smile Sunday as he listened to some digitally remastered speeches of Der Führer. And following the success of Embrace the Serpent, Marilyn Quayle took a vacation in the Bahamas. Hey! She's on the boat. Ex-President Ronald Reagan was attacked by a nuclear protester in Las Vegas yesterday. The protester said he did it to impress Edie Brickell. You know, the only good thing about the whole incident is that Reagan has no memory of it today. When asked about it this afternoon, Reagan said, "What's Las Vegas?" Larry King, who was in the front row during the incident, said he was completely taken by surprise. All he could blurt out was, "Sir, what is your question?" The turnout was light Saturday in Washington, D.C. for the Right to Poop in the Park rally. Californians may end up voting on whether the state should split up. Yeah, that's kind of drastic. I think we should get some counseling. Maybe buy a convertible, see other states for a while, you know. Let's work it out. A new $200,000 government pork barrel study has discovered that fish cannot live without water. Well, Yasser Arafat was found alive this week after reports that his plane went down. Had he not been found, the PLO was ready to replace him with Pete Best. Dude, full-on tailgate party in Red Square. Kegs, no cops. Here we see Boris Yeltsin as he fails the touch your nose segment of the Russian sobriety test. A new study shows that when brushing your teeth, you should use light circular strokes with a soft bristled brush. That's interesting because up until now, I've had good results using jaw-breaking linear strokes with a stiff wire brush. Here, author Louis Turkel flashes the impish grin that earned him the nickname Studs. Here we see golf great Arnold Palmer after he putted the wrong ball. This week, former members of the Latin pop group Menudo gathered to reminisce. And hundreds of Duke students celebrated victory in the NCAA tournament by rioting and dancing in the fiery glow of what was once their campus. Our lives will never be this good again, said senior Chipper Williams, so we just opted to destroy everything, man. Well, the city of Chicago is in the midst of getting a high colonic. There was massive flooding in an ancient tunnel system under Chicago yesterday, knocking out power and closing the subway system. Workers eventually plugged the huge leak with cement after first slowing the water flow with mattresses, which were generously donated by the Bill Clinton campaign headquarters. The flood is giving many Chicagoans the day off from work. New evidence has shown that the whole thing was an elaborate plot masterminded by Ferris Bueller. Meanwhile, in Florida, a man holds his nuts in one hand and his sack in the other. And no, that's not the Kennedy compound. Guess